the fast-paced world of technology, the quest for progress often comes with hidden dangers. But what if that quest led to personal tragedy? This is the gripping story of Mason Aldridge, a tech mogul whose empire was built on innovation, but was crumbling under the weight of dark secrets. Join us as we uncover the intertwined fates of Mason, Ava, and Eduardo, exploring a journey of love, betrayal, and the search for redemption. Mason Aldridge stood in the towering glass office of Axiom Technologies, the city skyline glittering beneath him. He was at the pinnacle of success, known for revolutionizing the tech industry. But for Mason, the glitz and glamour concealed a web of lies. Axiom had been accused of conducting unethical experiments, testing new technology on unsuspecting individuals, resulting in harm and devastation. As he reviewed the day's agenda, Mason's mind drifted to Ava Harper, a brilliant barista with whom he had forged a deep connection. Their relationship had blossomed amidst chaos, but he knew that the shadows of Axiom's past loomed over them. Just then, his phone buzzed with a message from Eduardo Mendoza, his longtime business partner. "We need to talk," it read. Mason's stomach churned. He knew Eduardo had been increasingly distant since the scandal erupted. Mason met Eduardo in his penthouse, the tension in the room palpable. "I found her," Eduardo said, his voice cracking. "Ava is my daughter." Mason's heart raced. "What are you talking about?" "She was given up for adoption years ago," Eduardo explained, tears glistening in his eyes. "I've had DNA tests done to confirm it." Ava, who had been silently listening, staggered back in shock. "No, that can't be true. My parents were my adoptive parents." As the reality of the situation sank in, Mason felt as if the ground had shifted beneath him. The woman he loved was entwined in a painful legacy he had desperately tried to escape. As Ava grappled with her newfound identity, Mason struggled with the implications of Eduardo's revelation. He felt torn between his love for Ava and the devastating reality of her past. Before Mason could process his emotions, Emily, his college girlfriend, burst into the room. "Mason, I have information," she exclaimed, but froze upon seeing Eduardo and Ava. "Emily," Mason said, a sense of dread washing over him. "I remember you," Emily said slowly, recognition dawning on her. "You were part of the Axiom trials." Ava's brow furrowed in confusion. "What do you mean?" Emily's composure shattered as she confessed her involvement in Axiom's unethical practices. "I was the one who suggested expanding the trials," she admitted, tears streaming down her face. "I didn't realize the extent of the harm we were causing." Mason's heart raced. "You knew about the cover-up?" "I had to protect the company," Emily said, trembling. "But when I heard about the whistleblower, I came back to try to fix things." Mason felt the walls closing in as the tangled web of deceit surrounded them. Just when despair threatened to consume them, Ava stood up, her expression fierce. "Enough. It's time for the truth to come out." Her words ignited a spark of hope. The group agreed to confront their past and take responsibility. They would face the media and the legal scrutiny head-on. In the following days, the team prepared for the press conference that could change everything. As they gathered in Mason's penthouse, a mix of anxiety and determination filled the air. "I want to ensure that we make this right," Mason said, his voice steady. "The victims of our experiments, including Ava, deserve compensation and ongoing care." Ava looked at him, a mixture of gratitude and pain in her eyes. "I appreciate that, Mason. But what about my past? Can we ever truly make this right?" As the press conference approached, Mason faced a moral dilemma. Ava's brother, Tommy, was battling a chronic illness, and the doctors suggested an experimental treatment derived from Axiom's controversial technology. Ava wrestled with guilt. "How can I subject him to something like this?" she asked, her voice shaking. "We have to let him decide," Mason replied gently. "He deserves a choice." In a heart-wrenching conversation, they sat down with Tommy, explaining the potential risks and benefits of the experimental treatment. "I want to try it," Tommy said, his young face serious beyond his years. "Not just for me, but for everyone who needs help." His brave decision solidified their commitment to transparency. They knew that if they were to move forward, they had to do it the right way. As Tommy began his treatment, Mason worked tirelessly to ensure it was administered ethically. He insisted on full disclosure about the technology's origins and potential risks, not just to Tommy's family, but to the medical community and the public at large. This commitment to transparency began to shift public perception of Axiom. While the company's reputation was far from restored, people began to see the potential for redemption. Meanwhile, Ava was on her own journey of self-discovery. Embracing her new identity as Eduardo's daughter, she sought to understand the full extent of what Axiom had done to her and others like her. "I want to make a difference," Ava said one evening, her voice filled with determination. "I want to advocate for ethical practices in technology." Eduardo nodded with pride. "You have the power to change the industry for the better." As the weeks passed, Mason and Ava found strength in each other amidst the chaos. Their relationship deepened as they navigated the complexities of their new reality. One night, as they stargazed from the rooftop garden of Mason's penthouse, Ava turned to him. "Mason, through everything that's happened, my feelings for you have only grown stronger." "I love you, Ava," Mason replied, his heart full. "I was afraid I'd lost you for good." But their moment of peace was disrupted by Eduardo and Emily, their faces grave. "We have a problem," Eduardo warned, and Mason's heart sank. The problem turned out to be a leaked document detailing Axiom's past experiments, implicating several high-ranking government officials who had turned a blind eye in exchange for access to the technology. "This goes deeper than we thought," Emily said, her face pale. "There are powerful people who stand to lose everything if this information goes public." Mason felt the weight of the world on his shoulders. They had to act quickly to expose the truth and ensure that such ethical violations could never happen again. After careful consideration, Mason made the bold decision to hold a press conference to reveal everything: Axiom's unethical experiments, the cover-up, and the government's complicity. On the day of the press conference, the atmosphere was electric with anticipation. Reporters from all over the country gathered to hear Mason's statement. Standing alongside Ava, Eduardo, and Emily, Mason felt a mix of fear and determination. "We stand here today not to make excuses, but to take responsibility," Mason said, his voice steady, despite the flashing cameras. "Moving forward, Axiom will be at the forefront of ethical innovation, with transparency and human welfare as our guiding principles." The fallout was immediate. Stock prices plummeted, investigations were launched, and for a time, it seemed as though everything they had fought for might crumble. But the public, initially outraged, began to rally behind Mason and Axiom's commitment to transparency and ethical reform. As the weeks turned into months, something unexpected happened. people began to see Axiom's efforts as a genuine attempt to make amends for the past. Other tech companies, facing pressure from employees and shareholders, began to implement stricter ethical guidelines. Tommy, now fully recovered, became a symbol of hope. His story inspired a new generation of researchers committed to pushing the boundaries of science while respecting ethical limits. Ava, true to her word, returned to medical school, her unique perspective making her a rising star in the field of bioethics. She and Mason navigated the complexities of their relationship in the public eye, their love deepening as they faced each new challenge together. 1 year after the press conference that changed everything, Mason stood once again on the rooftop of his penthouse. But this time, he wasn't alone. Ava was by his side, a simple gold band glinting on her finger. "Are you ready for this?" Ava asked, squeezing his hand. "With you by my side, I'm ready for anything," Mason replied, his heart soaring. As they turned to join their friends and family gathered for their engagement party, Mason reflected on the unexpected path that had brought him here. He had lost an empire, but gained a family. He had faced his deepest flaws and emerged stronger and more human. In the end, Mason and Ava's journey serves as a powerful reminder that love, growth, and the pursuit of truth can emerge even from the darkest moments. Their story teaches us that our past mistakes don't define us. It's how we choose to rectify them that shapes our legacy. As the night unfolded with laughter, love, and hope, Mason realized that the true measure of success isn't found in wealth or power, but in the connections we build and the lives we touch. If you found inspiration in Mason and Ava's story, share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe for more captivating tales that explore the complexities of human emotions and relationships. Thank you for being part of our storytelling journey.